Hi, I am Dr. Sarah Kapnick, Chief Scientist at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. How we manage water, whether it is the challenges of dealing with too much of it or too little, will come to define the next century. We know climate change is already playing a role on local and global scales today. Changing precipitation frequency and amounts and rising temperatures are intensifying droughts, reducing snowpack, and increasing heavy downpours. These extremes are only expected to worsen further into the future, according to climate projections. In the United States, we are anticipating worsening droughts and paradoxically, more precipitation falling in large events. The potential costs of the impacts of these events are huge and cut across a wide range of sectors, including agriculture, energy, transportation, health, forestry, and more. In 17 of the last 20 years, a drought event has qualified for NOAA's list of billion-dollar disasters, and the total cost of these large drought events is estimated to be nearly $170 billion. This alone underscores why we must build resilience to these costly events. It also highlights why accurate assessments of current conditions must keep pace with the rapid changes in our climate. Yet, we also know that those costs are not distributed equally. The challenge is not just how do we plan for increasing water scarcity in one area, increasing flooding in another. It's also asking how do we do so equitably, providing the necessary tools, resources, and expertise for managing risk in disadvantaged communities and across the nation. We need to think about water and drought differently. Our climate is changing and our development is increasing too. The droughts of 30 years ago may be very different than the droughts in the 2030s. Similarly, the flash flooding of the future may impact more people and communities than before. We cannot rely on the past or on metrics that assume an unchanging climate to make important decisions on planning or adaptation. So what can we do? We cannot approach water issues as a monolith. Drought looks and feels different depending on where you are, what season you are in, and which sectors are important to you. Drought planning and response in the Western U.S. is different from the East Coast or U.S.-affiliated Pacific Islands. Water management in urban areas is very different than in rural areas or on tribal lands. To provide the most relevant climate information and climate services, we need to understand what challenges these different communities are facing. And that begins with collaboration between federal and non-federal partners, both in the United States and abroad. In particular, we need to prioritize the experience, voices, and needs of those most exposed and most vulnerable to the impacts of droughts and floods. Identifying gaps and needs can lead to improved observation in under-resourced communities and investment in research on seasonal forecasting to provide an early warning to water managers, and robust networks designed to efficiently disseminate information on risks, impacts, and solutions. NOAA is leaning in on these challenges of ensuring we are ready for future droughts and flooding. We look forward to closely working with our federal and non-federal partners to understand and address emerging needs for water information and services on the path to building a more resilient future for all.